Hello, welcome to lesson number 2 in linear perspective. I will be teaching you the fundamentals of 2-point perspective. Now, in my first lesson, I showed you how to make some simple boxes in 1-point perspective. Now, we're going to do the same thing in 2-point. So I'm going to take my red pen here and my trusty ruler. And I am going to draw a line, which, as you know, refers to the horizon line. So you have to use your imagination just a little bit with perspective drawing. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my blue pen and I'm going to establish my 2 vanishing points. One of the things that's so important about vanishing points in 2-point perspective is to space them as far apart as you possibly can. So I'm going to place one all the way on this edge, and then I'm going to place another one all the way over here. Okay, so with 1-point perspective, I started with a single point pulled into a line, and I'm actually going to start my 2-point perspective in the same exact way. But instead of pulling that shape into a flat plane facing me, I need to remember that 2-point perspective is the corner view, and I'm going to have one plane receding the distance to my right and another plane receding into the distance to my left. So let's see how well I can draw a straight line. And here we go. Not bad. Where I start to have a little more problem dexterity wise is moving my arm this way, but we'll see how well we do. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so now do I have a box? Obviously, I do not. What I have instead is a giant L. So, if I want to turn this corner of this endless wall into the corner of a box, I need to establish an ending. And I'm going to go ahead and erase any extra lines as I go. Now, what do I have? I have the endless L. So what I need to do is I need to chop it off and go from having an endless L to a little L. And again, I'm going to get rid of some of my extra lines. Okay, so now we need to draw the top of this box. So I'm just going to go from this sad, empty little corner and shoot a line straight across to my vanishing point. And I will do the same thing on this side. And now I have box number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process up in here and create a floating box, just as I did when I showed you 1-point perspective. And again, I'm starting with the corner. That's a little high. Starting with the corner, and then I'm going to create my left plane moving towards my left vanishing point and my right plane moving to the right. Obviously, I need to chop this down. This is my own world. I can make it however I want. So I'm just choosing an arbitrary point. Now, do I have a box? Well, I have the box that goes forever. So I'm going to go ahead and make it end. And then I need to establish where my box ends on this bottom plane. Can it go that way? No. It needs to move towards this point. And okay. Now this looks a little bit weird, but this is the danger of not using a ruler. Shame on me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase my extra lines. Bingo. And maybe I will, just as I did with 1 point perspective, add just a little bit of shading to kind of drive home the difference in these planes as they shift. With a little bit of hatching. All right. Okay. So, if I were to be able to see into the interior of these boxes, as I'm sure you can imagine, I have been getting some boxes delivered, so I'm very acquainted with how boxes look. I would need to start to think about what's happening inside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot my little line towards my vanishing point on this side. Now, if I'm seeing the back corner, I know where it is because I see it up here. And all I have to do is drop it straight down. Now this is a little tricky because I'm only seeing like the tiniest little piece of that back wall. So tiny. And if I were to create this one, again, moving towards my vanishing point, I'm not even seeing the back wall. It's hidden inside my box. And I'm just giving this a little bit of shading on the inside. One thing you'll notice about my hatching is that my hatching is directional, moving with the plane as it recedes in space. So here is your lesson in 2-point perspective, and in a few moments I will continue on and I will start to teach you the next step.